What's up, my math peeps? Back again for some more math lessons. Glad you're all so excited to watch this. We're going to be talking about solving proportions today, which is section 1.6. There's 9 sections in chapter 1, so we're approaching our last couple units in chapter 1, which means we will have a test probably in the next, week and a half or so. Solving proportions, our Common Core State Standard is AREI 3. It says solve linear equations and inequalities in one variable. Some vocab is proportions, cross products property. So we'll look at all of these things. They're very exciting. Okay, so we have a proportion. Remember, a proportion is when you have two fractions that are equal to each other. Okay, so two equivalent fractions. To solve this proportion, we're going to use, this wants us to use the multiplication property. So basically, we're trying to get m by itself. And in order to get m by itself, we need to get rid of the 12. Okay, so 12 is being divided. Okay, it's m divided by 12. So to cancel out divide, we have to multiply. Do the opposite. Times by 12 here. Which means we got to do it to this side too. Times by 12. Okay, and when I do that, to multiply fractions, we can put that over 1. I multiply the top times the top, bottom times the bottom. So 12 times 7 gives us 84 over 8 equals, these 12s cancel each other, so equals m. That looks good, except for what? Oh, our fraction's not simplified. Let's simplify it, shall we? Well, 84 over 8, those are both even numbers. So we could at least cut it in half. So that gives us 42 over 4. And what do you know? They're even again. So we can cut those in half again. So that's 21 over 2. And those are simplified because 2 does not go into 21. So m equals 21 over 2. That should be our solution for m here. So we can get rid of the denominator always by multiplying it across. Okay, because we're doing the opposite of dividing, which is multiplying. Okay, on this one, I'm going to let you go ahead and try it. Make sure you leave your answer as a simplified fraction. Okay, pause this in 3, 2, 1, pause. Alright, welcome back. Hopefully you had time to pause that. I went kind of fast. But your answer should have been x equals 28 over 5. Okay, if you didn't get that, see if you can figure out what you did wrong. Or maybe what I did wrong, who knows. Okay, so if you look at this proportion right here, this says A over B equals C over D. The products AD and BC are called cross products. What that means is you're multiplying the diagonals together. So A times D and B times C. Those are called cross products. Okay, then we have this cross products property, which says that whenever you multiply the diagonals together, or the cross products, they are equal. Okay, so if you have this fraction here, or this proportion, and you multiply B times C and A times D, they are equal to each other. Okay, that's called your cross products property. Why this works, let me scroll down here. Here's why it works. So you can multiply both sides by the denominator. Okay, so your common denominator here would be BD. So multiplying both sides. So times BD to this side. Oops. And to this side. Your B's cancel with each other. Your D's cancel with each other over here. Then you're left with DA equals BC or AD equals BC. Okay, so know that whenever you have two fractions equal to each other, you can multiply the diagonals, and those are going to be equal. It also notes down here that A and D are called the extremes. Oops, what's happening? Okay, A and D are the extremes, and B and C are the means. Honestly, you'll probably never need to know that, because I didn't know it until just now. But if it does ask you what are the extremes, just know that it's the top left and bottom right. If it asks you what the means are, it's the bottom left and top right. And like I said, not super important, but it's in here, so might as well mention it. Okay, what is the solution of this one? So this one's a little bit harder because the x is on the bottom. So this is when we want to use the cross products property. So here we go. 8 over x. Okay, so we want to do the cross products, which means we're going to multiply these together and these together. Okay, so I do 8 times 3, which is 24. I'm just going to write 8 times 3. It's going to equal 4 times x. Okay, basically 24 equals 4x. And then we just solve for x. We can do that by dividing by 4 to both sides. 24 divided by 4 gives us 6. So we get 6 equals x. Or x equals 6. Also, you could have just done that by noticing 4 to 8, you have to times by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. There's lots of different ways you can go about doing this. I will not give you a hard time if you don't do it my way. Okay, so go ahead and try these. This says what is the solution of the proportion. So the same thing we just did. And would you rather use the cross products property or the multiplication property to solve this one? So I want you to think about those things. Okay, we are going to move on though. This is going to be pretty short. Okay, so what the cross products property is really useful for is when you have things like this. So you've got variables on both sides. So this is a multi-step equation or a multi-step proportion. So what we're going to do, the same thing is we're going to multiply at the top the diagonals together like this. Bam, bam, bang. Okay. I should have done that one at a time. Let me do that. Okay, so we'll multiply the extremes together first. So we're going to do 4 times b minus 8. Okay, but b minus 8 is the whole part of the fraction, so I need to put that in parentheses. Okay, and that should be equal to when I multiply these ones together. And that's going to be 5, and again parentheses, b plus 3. Whenever you have, this is called a binomial. Whenever you have a binomial like this, it has two terms, you have to put it in parentheses. Okay, so now that we have this set up, we can just solve this multi-step equation. And if you remember from a couple videos ago, the first step is always to distribute. Okay, so 4 times b gives us 4b. 4 times 8 gives us minus 32. Still have our equal sign. 5b plus 15. Okay, and now we just go ahead and solve. So I want to cancel out the smaller b. That way we can stay positive. Minus 4b, minus 4b. Those cancel, ka-chow. 5b minus 4b is just b. And then I can cancel out this 15 here by subtracting 15. Subtract 15 to the 32. Ka-chow, ka-chow. Those cancel. And negative 32 minus 15 is negative 47. So we get b equals negative 47. It's a very odd number, so if you can see if I messed up somewhere and let me know, that'd be awesome. If not, we'll just accept that it's negative 47, because it very well could be. Alright, onward. Okay, go ahead and try this one. I'll give you a couple seconds to pause this. 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, welcome back. The equation you should have got is 5 times 2n plus 4 equals 6n by multiplying the diagonals together. And then that would have gotten you to 10n plus 20 equals 6n. And in this case, we probably just want to move that 10n over, even though it's bigger. There's no other constants on that side, so minus 10n. We get 20 equals, that's going to be negative 4n, and then dividing by negative 4, we are left with n equals negative 5. Okay, so that's what you should get on that one. Moving on. Okay, modeling real-world situations with proportions. You must write the proportions so they have the same units across from each other. So for example, 100 miles in 2 hours. If you're writing a proportion to that, you need to have miles on top and hours on bottom. So x miles over 5 hours. Or not. What you don't want is 100 miles over 2 hours equals 5 hours over x miles. Okay, you got to have your units match up. Okay, so let's look at this problem here. It says a portable media player has 2 gigabytes of storage and can hold about 500 songs. A similar but larger media player has 80 gigs of storage. About how many songs can the larger media player hold? So again, you can probably figure this out without a proportion, but we can also do it with a proportion. So let's do that. Doesn't matter where your units go, but I know that in 2 gigabytes, I get about 500 songs. So if setting up a proportion, I'm going to put my gigabytes on top, songs on the bottom. And I know that I have 80 gigs of storage, so I am looking for how many songs that is, so it's going to be X right there. Okay, so then I just go through and solve this proportion by cross products. So 500 times 80, that's going to give us like 40 plus 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 40,000, and then equals, multiply these together and we get 2x. Divide by 2. Bang, bang, they're gone. And I'm left with x equals 40,000 divided by 2 is 20,000. So about 20,000 songs on the 80 gigabyte player. It's lots of songs. If you have an iPhone, you can just, get Apple Music and store it in the cloud, but it's none of my business. So, next one, last one. I'm going to let you practice this. This is an 8-ounce can of orange juice. Contains about 97 milligrams of vitamin C. About how many milligrams of vitamin C are there in a 12-ounce can of orange juice? Okay, so set up the proportion to solve this. It should, when it comes out, if you don't want me to spoil the answer for you, you can pause this right now. But it should come out to be 145.5. So go ahead and try to set up the proportion. And if you can get 145.5 milligrams of vitamin C, then it looks like you are on your way to success. Alright, that is all I have for today for 1.6. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. You can like and subscribe. Turn on some bell that you guys are talking about. Not sure what that means, but go for it. And I'll look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Adios.